the 10 most notorious mobsters from Chicago. Before we get started, go beat that like and subscribe button. Thanks. Now keeps your lips sealed. 1. Frank McElrain. One of the early adopters of the Tommy gun, McElrain went insane in 1931 and was found shooting up an empty street that he thought was full of ghosts. When he died the next year, one anonymous gangster said, "I don't remember that he ever did anything good in his life. I don't believe he had a friend left." 2. Giacomo Big Jim Colosimo. The protopimp, Colosimo earned the moniker Diamond Jim for his white suits and diamond rings, pins, and jewelry. The prostitution kingpin oversaw around 200 brothels, including the Four Deuces at Wabash and Shermick in the near South Side. Up the street, where his restaurant and club Colosimo's Cafe sat, is now Tommy Gunscourge, a 1920s gangster-themed dinner theater. 3. Frank and Peter Gusenberg. Contract killers under the employ of the Northside Gang. Brothers Goosey and Frank left bullet holes all over the city. Wearing brown overalls, Peter casually emptied an entire 100-round chamber of Tommy gun ammo into the Hawthorne Hotel, Capone's Cicero hub. The younger Frank was the only survivor of the St. Valentine's Day massacre, despite being riddled with 14 bullets. In the hospital, cops asked who shot him. "Nobody shot me," he replied. 4. Jaime Weiss. One of the Board of Governors who took over for O'Banion in the Northside Gang, Weiss was considered the only man Capone feared. The Polish-born mobster was shot in 1926 outside of Holy Name Cathedral, right across the street from O'Banion's flower shop, a year after his old boss was killed. Legend has it that a hole in the cornerstone of the church is one of the bullet holes. It's probably not true, but the cornerstone was shot up pretty badly that day. 5. Paul the Waiter Rica. Known as the waiter due to his start in Diamond Joe Esposito's restaurant, Rica outlasted everyone on this list, running the outfit after Capone. Under his oversight, the mob moved from narcotics and prostitution to grander schemes like labor racketeering and extorting movie studios in Hollywood. He lived until 1970. George Bugs Moran. After taking over the Northside Gang as everyone else capable of running it was dead by then, Moran was presumably the target of the St. Valentine's Day massacre in 1929. He wasn't in the garage that day. One of the pioneers of drive-by shootings, Moran lived until 1957, when he died in prison. 7. Dean O'Banion. Original head of the Prohibition-era Northside Gang, O'Banion got his start as a singing waiter in a tavern where the Carryman now resides. It was a punk club called O'Banion's in the 1980s, and ran a flower shop on State Street as a day job. The Great Gang War of the 1920s really got underway after he was shot in the flower shop in November 1924. By this time, the gangsters were already being romanticized. A Tribune headline read, "O'Banion gang like pirates of olden days. Beer trucks their gold ships." 8. Lester Joseph Babyface Nelson. As a nascent mobster, Nelson stole tires, drove bootlegging trucks, and mugged the wife of William Big Bill Thompson, the mayor of Chicago. She's the one who compared his face to that of a baby. That was not his only high-profile target. In 1930, he invaded the home of magazine bigwig Charles M. Richter, tying him up with adhesive tape. After serving some time in the clink, he hooked up with Dillinger. After the deaths of Dillinger and Pretty Boy Floyd, Nelson rocketed up the charts to be public enemy No. 1, until being gunned by federal agents at the age of 25 and dying in a Wilmette safe house. 9. John Dillinger. Though he was an Indiana native who robbed banks in seemingly every Midwestern state, but Illinois, Dillinger is forever linked with Chicago. The charismatic criminal hid out in Uptown and eventually met his end outside the Biograph Theater on Lincoln, now home to Victory Gardens. He became something of a rock star Johnny Depp of his time, say, but with armed robberies instead of box office bombs throughout his ruthless activity. When Cook County put his corpse on display to the public, They used to do that. 15,000 people lined up to see him. 10. Alphonse Gabriel Al Capone. Because he's become more of a cartoon character or Halloween costume in our modern era, it's easy to overlook the fact that he caused a gargantuan amount of death and pain for our city. He was the pioneer of the mobster as pop star, as sharp with his PR tactics as his bootlegging. While battling the North Side Gang for control of the underworld, he opened soup kitchens and strutted around town in custom suits, chumping cigars and sipping Templeton Rye. Every mobster cliche today is in some way due to him. Before you get out of here, if you could hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you. See you in the next one.